All right, let's talk about everyone's favorite topic, health insurance. I can practically hear you groaning through the screen, but stick with me here. This might be the most important 6 minutes of this entire course, because getting this wrong can cost you thousands of dollars. First things first, you have exactly 30 days after your baby is born to add them to your health insurance. Not 31 days, not whenever I get around to it, 30 days. Miss this window, and you'll have to wait until the next open enrollment period, which could be months away. And trust me, you don't want to explain to your pediatrician why your baby doesn't have insurance. Here's what I wish someone had told me. Call your insurance company right now and ask them to walk you through the exact process for adding a dependent. Don't assume it's simple. Some companies require specific forms, others need a copy of the birth certificate, and some have online portals that may or may not work when you're sleep deprived at 2 a.m. Get their direct phone number, not the general customer service line. Write down the name of the person you talk to. Create a contact in your phone called Insurance Baby Ad with all of the details. Because when you're in the hospital holding your newborn, the last thing you want to do is navigate an automated phone system. Now, let's talk about choosing the right plan if you have options. This is where most people make expensive mistakes. If you're currently on a high deductible plan because you're young and healthy, having a baby changes everything. Suddenly, you're going to have regular doctor visits, potential emergency room trips, and all sorts of medical expenses you've never had before. Here's my rule of thumb. Add up the potential costs. Look at the monthly premium difference between plans, multiply it by 12, then compare that to the difference in out-of-pocket maximums. If the higher premium plan saves you more than it costs in potential medical expenses, switch to it during open enrollment before your baby arrives. Let's talk about something most people don't think about: network coverage. That amazing pediatrician your friend recommended, make sure they're in your network. That children's hospital everyone raves about, check if it's covered, because discovering your baby's doctor is out of network during a midnight fever crisis is not going to be fun. Here's a pro tip. Most insurance companies have online provider directories, but they're often out of date. Call the doctor's office directly and ask them which insurance plans they accept. They'll give you the most current information. Now, let's discuss the fun world of deductibles and out-of-pocket maximums. If you're not familiar with these terms, buckle up. Your deductible is how much you pay before the insurance kicks in. Your out-of-pocket maximum is the most you'll pay in a year before insurance covers everything. Here's what that means for new parents. If you have a $3,000 deductible and your baby is born in January, you might hit that deductible pretty quickly with delivery costs, newborn care, and early pediatric visits. But then you're golden for the rest of the year. If your baby is born in December, you start over with a new deductible on January 1st. This is why timing matters for some people. If you have flexibility in your due date and a high deductible plan, having your baby early in the year can actually save you money because you'll maximize your insurance benefits for that year. Let's talk about HSAs and FSAs, which are basically free money if you use them right. If you have a health savings account, max it out before your baby arrives if you can. HSA money rolls over year to year, and you can use it for all sorts of baby-related expenses, not just medical bills. Things like breast pumps, certain baby monitors, and even some over-the-counter medications. Flexible spending accounts are trickier because they're a use it or lose it type of account, but they're still valuable. You can use FSA money for breast pumps, bottles, and even things like baby sunscreen. The key is planning how much to contribute based on your expected expenses. Here's something that caught me off guard. Breastfeeding supplies are often covered by insurance. Breast pumps, lactation consultant visits, even some nursing bras can be covered. But you usually have to ask for it and sometimes get a prescription from your doctor. Don't assume they'll just offer this information up. Now, let's talk about what happens if something goes wrong during delivery. I don't want to scare you, but complications happen and they can be expensive. NICU stays can cost thousands per day. Emergency C-sections, extended hospital stays, specialist consultations, these can add up quickly. This is where understanding your out-of-network coverage becomes crucial. In an emergency, you don't get to choose which hospital you go to or which doctors treat you. Make sure you understand what your insurance covers for emergency out-of-care network, because the last thing you want is a surprise bill for $50,000. Here's a strategy that saved me money. Ask about payment plans before you need them. Most hospitals and medical practices offer payment plans. They're not always advertised. Call the billing department at your hospital and ask about their options. Some offer interest-free payment plans if you set them up in advance. Now, let's talk about pediatrician coverage. Not all pediatricians accept all insurance plans, and some have waiting lists for new patients. Start looking for a pediatrician now, not after your baby is born. Ask about their newborn visit schedule, after hours care, and what happens if your regular doctor isn't available. Here's something else that I learned the hard way. Well baby visits are usually covered at 100%, but sick visits might have copays. And if your baby needs any treatments or procedures during a well baby visit, those might not be covered the same way. Always ask about costs upfront. One more thing about timing. If you're planning to switch jobs or your partner is considering a career change, think carefully about timing and insurance coverage. COBRA coverage can be expensive, and gaps in coverage can be costly if your baby arrives during a transition period. Finally, let's talk about maximizing your benefits. Many insurance plans cover things like car seat installation checks, baby proofing consultations, and even some baby classes. These might seem like small things, but they add up, and you're already paying for them through your premium. The bottom line is this: your health insurance is probably your biggest tool for managing the cost of having a baby, but only if you understand how to use it properly. Take the time now to really understand your coverage, make the necessary phone calls, and set up systems that will work even when you're exhausted. In our next module, we're going to tackle all the legal and administrative stuff that needs to happen when your baby arrives. Birth certificates, social security cards, life insurance, all the paperwork that somehow multiplies when you have a baby.